guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Today I got a one-off. I actually have two one-offs I'm going to record today. I'll probably post them up both today for you guys so you have something to look at. This is a story that was sent to me by a couple of guys that follow me over on Twitter. And, I had a picture I wanted to, let me bring this up real quick. I had a picture that I snapshotted of Twitter because apparently I'm already in trouble with them. Where did I put that photo? Here it is. Let me put this up into the... I got in trouble with Twitter already because they said, here at the bottom, they said, it's official, Megan Thee Stallion is joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Megan will appear in an upcoming episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And I put a picture of dog crap with sprinkles on it because that's pretty much what I think of the MCU right now. And adding Megan Thee Stallion to it is... It's not even sprinkles, but I thought that was funny. And they say we put a content warning on this because it might have sensitive content. And the sensitive content, they talk about some pretty heinous acts or, gore or stuff like that. And apparently this falls into it. So I'm already in trouble with Twitter. But anyway, so some guys sent me a link to this story about a dude bragging on how he stole another guy's fiance. And he was masculine energy, and he wifed her up and got her pregnant. Now he's got kids and the family and the home, and everything's right in the world. And to be honest, reading it, it was the most cringe, like wannabe alpha, but totally beta type stuff. And the guy in the thumbnail that I have here, right here, that's the guy. So he's not bad looking. He's short. He's shorter, probably around my height maybe, because I'm a pretty short dude. He's shorter guy. He's got a good build, not bad looking, and this is the picture of his new wife after he knocked her up. But the interesting thing, we get picked on a lot because we have people coming into our, message comments down below the video stuff and saying incel and loser and, masculine energy and you need to take what you want and real men get and blah, blah, blah. And that's pretty much the story this guy had. But the reason why I don't have it available is because it says you're unable to view this tweet because the account owner limits who can view their tweets. He turned off his Twitter so that only a couple people can see him. Why? Because he got ended in the comment section. You can see here, I'll just read a couple that are upvoted pretty well. This might be the hardest self-own we've ever seen. Somebody else here says Cobra Kai in the comment section, which is no mercy. Here's one that has like 1,700 upvotes. Your marriage ends with her losing interest in cheating, just as she did to her fiance. You didn't steal anything. She lost interest and didn't have the integrity to tell him, so she cheated with you to end it. And so, yeah, pretty much the story, traditional hypergamy. She meets Chad at the gym, and, she gives him, he says, she gives him flirty eyes, and he decides to, follow up, and they get on a little one-on-one. And before you know it, they're doing a little bit of the in and out, and then she decides to be with him and immediately breaks up with her fiance. And, and this is kind of an interesting question. Maybe I'll ask you guys this. Let me ask you this, and I want to hear in the comments below. Unlike some content creators, I do try to read thousands of comments. I miss many of them. I try my best. So I do read what you guys say. And so I do genuinely appreciate your comments and of course your likes on the video. Is it high energy when you're like super stud and you decide to go out and just take what you want? And even if that includes another guy's girl? Or is that, uncaring, uncouth, uncivilized, a-hole, black pill, or not black pill, like just negative energy. To me, it kind of feels like, and I'll just put my thoughts right out there. To me, it sounds almost the same as if you steal something from a store, and as you're explaining it to your friends, you're like, yeah, I stole this PlayStation, but it didn't have a security wrapper on it, and the guard wasn't paying attention, so I walked out. It's his loss. He wasn't paying attention. He didn't have enough security, so it's their fault. That's kind of what this feels like to me. It's like, oh, he didn't have alpha male energy, and he wasn't the... And many of you will agree, as I agree, that it's actually a good thing for the guy that she left him, because he doesn't get cheated on later on in life or anything like that. But imagine using that as an excuse. So anyway, below this comment, the guy that originally wrote this tweet actually linked to this article. And I'm going to read this article for you. if I can get my right button here. I'm going to read this article, and this is from Pat Stedman, dating and relationship coach. I use the latter part of that, dating and relationship coach, very loosely. This is an article he'd written about a year ago, and it sounds very similar to what happened to this guy, and this was the article the guy had linked before he decided to blow up his own Twitter to hide in Nowhereville. But it says, should you steal another man's girl? Interesting situation occurring recently with one of my clients. Something that might be controversial for many of you, yet I believe it's important to address the backstory. My client is an attractive, confident guy, high energy, recently out of divorce, but has processed what went wrong and is angling for a better future. So this is a divorce guy in this story, not the other guy that I was going to do the story on, but he disappeared. So this is a divorce guy, so he knows what it's like to lose somebody and have things fall apart. Needless to say, he doesn't consider that in his next move. At his gym, he meets this trainer. She's very fit, also high energy. There's an immediate connection. Only problem, she's engaged. Game over, right? Not so fast. That's what I'm going to tell you. No, game over. Game over. And it's very easy to say, oh, he shouldn't flirt. He should ask for another trainer. He should get away from the situation. It's easy to say that because it's morally right. But if you're a guy in this situation and you find her incredibly attractive and you'd love to and she's fun and interesting and you want to date her and sleep with her and all that stuff, a lot of guys would say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Not my problem that things aren't working out with her. And I know many of you that have commented in previous videos of mine would be like, yeah, his loss. Like if he's not good enough to keep her. I think a lot of times, though, maybe those guys haven't been on the losing end of a relationship. I don't know. Because I've never really thought this was a good idea. The girl continues to flirt hard. She texts my client. Now, right there, she texts my client, gives tons of signals, so he decides to explore it. Isn't it interesting? And again, I think whoever this girl decided to break up with, the other fiance, lucky him because he dodged a bullet. But here's the next question for you. If you're the guy that's picking up this girl who's got a fiance, and you're deciding to go with it, if she did it to the last one, what makes you think she won't step out on you? If she's initiating it with the dude at the gym and trying to get things going, and she texts him, like obviously she's the one that's making the move here with good old hypergamy. If she's going to do it to her ex, what makes you think she won't do it to you? The only difference is maybe if you're married or like this dude here, and you've already knocked her up and you got kids and a family and all that, who's to say that she decides to tell you? Maybe she just steps out. You got to look at past actions when it comes to this stuff. Anyway, dude decides to explore it. He invites her to a workout class and then to lunch. She accepts. You might think there are bad signs all over at this point, low integrity on his end, and of course on her end. She's giving signals to cheat, and he's trying to swoop some other guy's girl. Yeah, exactly. But here's what blows me away. But here's why you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with stealing another man's girl when she's asking to be stolen, provided you go about it the right way. And he has a sentence in here, I'll point it out, that really stands out to me. He says, but the truth is that women do not always choose the men they commit to out of love and alignment. Women can be as practical as men. You get a certain point in your life, and perhaps you decide something's better than nothing and decide to make the best of it. Yeah, it's called hypergamy. We know this. It's the tingles and the butterfly of someone new, someone strange, someone interesting, someone you haven't slept next to and heard snore or fart in their sleep, or someone who you don't have to listen to this music or whatever you don't like. Yeah, we know this. This is simple hypergamy. But of course, he's acting like this is new and unique. He said, which is why if you meet a woman like this and you have a strong pull towards her as she does for you, and you decide to pursue out of honor or decline to pursue out of honor, I have a question for you. Do you have any masculine energy in you at all? So he's basically saying like, oh, big alpha energy, you have to claim what you want and be a man. Just go get it and take it. And I got news for you. That's the same way women are thinking nowadays of just, he's hot, I'm going to go sleep with him and take what I want. And they end up with no one. It's not masculine to sneak around behind another guy's back and make moves on her, sleep with her, do things with her, and then wait for her to break up with the other guy. Because not only are you setting yourself up to get absolutely wrecked, because if she does it before, she'll do it again, in many instances. But if she hides it from her current fiance, who says she's not hiding something from you? And on top of that, you're saying, I have no regard for hurting this other guy. And I think a lot of times guys justify it by saying, well, if it wasn't me, it'd just be somebody else. Okay. But when a bunch of people run into a store and loot it, are you the type of person that goes, well, a bunch of people are stealing stuff, I'm going to steal stuff too? Or do you say, man, that's wrong and it's illegal and I'm not going to participate in it? And if you say, well, it'd be somebody else or it's not my fault, you're part of the problem with society today. You have to have integrity. You have to have some sense of moral code. And if you don't, hey, okay, I get it, but you're part of the problem today. I'll put it to you that way. But to say it's masculine to do this to another guy, look, we're not apes with sticks. If you really feel like this, here's an idea. You say to her, hey, you know what? We've met up. Obviously, there's a little energy here, but you're engaged, and I'm not comfortable with that. And if you're not happy with him and you're looking for other options, you need to break up with him, then come talk to me. I mean, if she's really into you that much, she'll do it. Remember, a lot of times, though, women will get one pot of something boiling, and they'll move it to the back grill while they start something else boiling, and then they throw the other one out. That's why they literally call it monkey branching, because you're never without a branch. You go from one to the other, and that's what's happening here. And for some reason, this guy's like, oh, it's a great idea. She'll never monkey branch after you. It's a great idea. Go ahead and wife her up and keep her and hide it from the other guy. It's just cowardly shit, if you ask me. He says, men compete all the time. If a woman is desirable, competition over her is inevitable. Whether another man stakes his claim, does that mean you're out of the game, especially if she's not yet married? Only if you decide so. However, I'd offer that you are not only hurting yourself and her, but you're even hurting the other guy by declining to explore the energy and get to the truth of it. This is narcissistic, self-aggrandized, self-entitled think. And this is how I think a lot of young people think today. Understand, he says, if you're not chasing and trying to get this girl, you're hurting yourself, you're hurting her, and you're hurting the guy that you're stealing her from. Because in his mind, he thinks, well, she's going to leave him anyway at some point for somebody, might's well be me. And again, even if you think that way, remember the guy here in the thumbnail, he married her and obviously got her in the motherly way. Even if you think that way of, well, I deserve it, I'm more masculine, I have higher energy, I chased her, I won. Do you think that any woman that, again, does this to another guy won't do it to you? Man, you're just setting yourself up for failure. He said, but despite what he might tell himself, life is not going to be happy and divorce is probably likely anyway, which is true. And yes, the guy that got his girl, quote unquote, stolen, dodged the bullet. Come to find out, probably he's going to be the best out of all the scenario of all three of them. Because the guy that took this type of woman, he's not going to win. A woman that'll do this for anything better that comes along, even though she had basically taken an engagement ring and promised herself, even though they don't officially married, she's not going to win because she's never going to be happy. She's always going to be looking for the next leg up and the next thing that's better. And it's obvious that her promises to people and her agreements to be faithful and marry you aren't any good. So the dude that got left is actually the only guy that comes out ahead in this situation, as far as I'm concerned. He says, so stealing a girl, it's okay, especially if she's not yet married. Engagement is under contract. The sale isn't final. It doesn't count. How many women today think the same way when they're like, oh, I'm married, but he works all the time, so he doesn't take care of my emotional needs, so it doesn't count. He doesn't work enough, so he can't provide enough for me. So I have to struggle, and it's not enough for me and my kids. I deserve better, so it doesn't count. Yeah, I cheated on him with a really good-looking guy at the gym, but he's let himself go. He's out of shape. He's not the, thin, muscular guy that I first, married or was with 4 or 5 years ago. And so I felt like I deserve someone that's better looking and takes care of themselves better. So it doesn't count. This is society completely today. Nothing counts, everything in the moment, whatever's right in front of my face, screw all the other ramifications. He said, but how to execute this deal is, of course, the devil's in the detail. First rule, you must make your intentions clear after a reasonable amount of time. If you've both been flirting, she's been giving you heavy signals and she wants to spend one-on-one time with you, you need to call it out. The reason for this is twofold. You're letting her know there's another option for her so she can seriously consider you, and you avoid the tension devolving into a friend zone dynamic or compartmentalized affair. Moreover, there's a certain honor in this and romantic intensity. You are a man and you go after what you want. You are desirable, and she's the object of your desire. Women go crazy for these kind of stories. Do you notice in here, and again, this is like selfish, narcissistic crap, self-entitlement, at least the way I read this and I see it and I feel about it. And maybe that has to do with what's happened to me in my past. And maybe if you guys don't have a bad past, you see this is completely fine. But if you've ever been on the receiving end of being cheated on or having bad things happen to you or have someone lie to you or sleep with somebody without you knowing for an extended period of time, and it makes you feel gross and dirty and pissed off and lied to and can flip your whole world. You notice nowhere in this area that he's commenting, he's like, okay, you need to make your intentions known so she can seriously consider you. It keeps you out of the friend zone, and it'll turn her on because there's honor in this, and you're telling her that she's desirable, and women go crazy for this. You notice nowhere in here he says, and you're doing the right thing by telling her to let the other guy down easy, telling him, moving on, and then she comes to you, that you're doing the right thing for the other guy. Nope, he doesn't even think about the other guy. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. And again, a lot of people think like this today, but here's the problem. When you have this mentality in life where you say, screw the rules or screw society and who cares what happens to other people, I'm going to get mine. When you think that way, when everybody thinks that way, guess what you have? You have societies falling into chaos. You have Portland, Oregon. You have Los Angeles. You have all these cities that have crime spiking and illicit substance use spiking and people just doing crazy stuff. Because they're saying, well, I'm doing what I want. Who cares what you think? Now, this is a much lower thing of it, but it's still the same school of thought. So if you think like this, I got to tell you, you need to correct your train of thought. You're a detriment to society. He said this brings second rule, and perhaps harder, it's yet essential. You cannot allow the dynamic to enter the physical. In other words, don't sleep with her. He says the affair loses it. Let me just read this whole part. I was going to try to parse it out, but he says a part of this is indeed the compartmentalized nature of affairs. People in a sexually depolarized marriage will often outsource the sex, but not the whole connection. So after the marriage collapses, the affair loses its luster. There's a complicated gravitational balance to these romantic dramas, and taking one piece off the board often changes the dynamic among all the others. That's okay. So basically he's saying, I guess the physicality will take the excitement out of it, and then after the marriage collapses, the affair loses its luster. Okay. But the other reason affairs rarely become healthy, sustained relationship is because having an affair curses the two of you. You can view this on an esoteric level. You'd be correct. There is some energetic that haunts the dynamic and never allows it to flourish. The other party becomes tainted, a constant reminder of your own sins, a vector for guilt and thus projection. But to bring it to a practical level, how can you trust someone who cheated on someone else with you? You can't. So no matter the tension, you can't cross that threshold. She needs to decide who she wants cleanly. And then he says, how do you make the right choice? And he says, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Well, here's what's interesting. So in his mind, the cheating is only a physical event. Because he says you can't be physical with her and you need to break things off cleanly. But in the same token, he's talking about you dating and flirting and seeing each other and so maybe that's a good question. Is cheating only physical? So if a woman says, oh, I love you and I want to be with you all the time and you're the most important person to me, but she sleeps with somebody else, I think everybody would call that cheating. But if a woman's saying, I love you and I never need anybody else and I care about you so much and you're amazing, but she's also telling that to another dude, maybe at work or a friend of hers, but she hasn't slept with him yet, is that cheating? I would say so. Me personally, I would think that's cheating. Emotional cheating is it may not be as bad to men as physical cheating, but a lot of women are the opposite. They're like, you slept with her, but do you love her? Do you care about her? Do you want to be with her? Well, it's both. It's all cheating. And here's really where you can clarify and correct this whole damn situation. If you find yourself if you're at the gym, if you're this girl and you're at the gym, or you're this guy, let's just be either one. If you're at the gym and as a woman you feel like, oh, I want to flirt with him, I want to get to know him better, I have impulses to text him, I want to find more about him, that's when you need to become single, right there. When you're thinking about somebody else more or as much as your fiance, or you're curious, or you want to investigate, you're done. Break up with your fiance. And then even if things fell through with a guy in the gym, you knew your fiance wasn't right for you, or you wouldn't be looking for somebody else. And if you're that guy at the gym and you find out, now a lot of times women will hide and they'll lie and they'll say they're single when they're not. And that is on the woman. But if she tells you, I have a fiance, but she's texting you and flirting with you, you as a man, you do either have to say, you know what, I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to steal this other guy's girl. Who cares the ramifications? I'm not going to marry her anyway. I'll just steal her from this other guy and sleep with her a lot and then dump her, whatever. Or you have to say to yourself, hey, if I'm going to pursue this, what about the other dude? What about her being this type of person? And you have to put some thought into that. And again, don't be selfish. Don't look at the immediate, like, oh, the ice cream sundae that's in front of you. It's so delicious, and I'm going to eat it, and I love ice cream, and I'm just going to eat it every day. That's how you end up losing a leg to diabetes and getting fat, by only thinking in the moment. Look down the road. Look down the road. Make her break up with her boyfriend. Tell her you want something casual. Make her break up if she'll break up with her boyfriend to be casual with you, I'm fine with that. She broke up with her fiance and she just wants to sleep with you. Go for it. She breaks up with her fiance to date you, and you know in your head you're only going to date her for a while, but you're not really serious about being long term. That's still better than like the cheating part. But either way, this isn't a woman you want to keep. This isn't a dude you want to be, and you don't want to be the guy that gets this on the backside. You want to at least be let down with a, hey, you know what? I don't think this is going to work out. Let's not get married, etc., etc. And I'll close it off with this. Couple of fails. Because this is thinking in the moment. This is thinking with the wrong head, thinking with little head, not the big head. Dude named Dinosaur. I found this on I think this was on Reddit or Twitter, one of the two. I just spent $70,000 just to be called one of my Twitch subs. I'm never gifting anything again. This girl named Sydney at Viperous says, one of my Twitch subs got me a Tesla. You know what, dude? You deserve it. She deserves that $70,000 car, and you deserve to lose that $70,000 car just for being stupid. You know, I used to feel bad for guys like this. I used to feel bad for them because I said, man, here's a lonely guy, and maybe she told him she'd, date him, or maybe she dated him and slept with him and used. No, this is just some dingbat on the internet. And you decide to send $70,000 over for a Tesla or to get her a Tesla, you deserve it. You deserve everything that happens to you. I used to feel bad for guys like this. Now, I hope they get taken for everything they have. Maybe then they'll learn a lesson. Because this certainly didn't teach her a lesson, did it, dipshit? And then, let's see, is this the last one? Yeah, this is the last one. This is from there was a bunch of vegans protesting in town. And I think this is in the UK, I'm not sure. But this guy decides to troll them a little bit by just standing there eating a kebab from one of the kebab shops nearby. But the takeaway, I'll play it, and I'll hear if you can see what I picked up out of the video that bothered me so much. I'll play with the volume here a little bit so I don't blow your ears out.
You're disgusting. What do you think you are? You're just a coward. You're a fucking coward. You're a spy piece of shit. And you're embarrassing me. What am I gonna do? Nothing. You're gonna die on your own without fucking us.
Paul, it feels fucking good. You and your small dick and your pussy way of killing animals, and it feels good. You have all the blood on your face and all the blood on your hands. It feels good with your small dick.
I can guarantee you he's
Shame on.
All right. So I saw this, and number one, I was like, you know what a great way to troll, especially if you just went to a sandwich shop and you're eating your sandwich and you happen to hear people screaming about meat and you want to do a counter protest and you're just going to stand there and eat your lunch. I'm okay with this. But what I found so fascinating about this is this woman here, the skinny woman that's yelling at him. This is the type of woman that says, don't body shame women. This is the type of woman that says all bodies are beautiful, all people are beautiful, all colors, everybody is, beautiful, no matter what size, shape. And twice, her insult was to say he had a tiny dick. Twice. I don't know if you caught that or not. I just play it through one time.
Paul, it feels fucking good. You and your small dick.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that the ones that are the most loving and tolerant tell us to control what we say about women's bodies and all bodies are beautiful, and the only insult she could think of was to call out this guy's, make fun of this guy, or not that he does have one, but try to demasculinize. That's what happens when I try to use too many big words without my coffee. She tries to make fun of him for his penis size. I just, if that doesn't tell you what type of people these are, I don't know what does. Guys, for the full list of content and all that other stuff, make sure to join me on betterbachelor.locals.com. We got like 51, 52, 53,000 members over there. You can also become a supporter, so you get additional content. You get to hear my rants and stuff that I can't put here on YouTube, and my news segments and all the things. And you get to see pictures like poop with sprinkles on it without Twitter blocking it and saying that's sensitive content. We got a great group of people over there. Come over and join us today. I think it's a great corner of the internet. I think you'll have fun. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. And yeah, remember, if she's a cheater, she's a cheater. If he's a cheater, he's a cheater. Can they change their ways? Yes. But will they be the ones that will change their ways when they're with you? Or will it be after you and when they decide to actually stop cheating and you're just one of the many? Who knows? But that's a gamble. I think this guy that got shamed out of even deleting his tweet, I think that's a lesson this guy probably is going to learn eventually, because now he's got her as a wife. He's got kids with her. He has a home with her. And if she's going to monkey branch to him, who says she won't monkey branch away from this guy, the difference is she's going to take the kid and half of his income or more for his bad decision. But yeah, go ahead and call it winning. I'm sure that's it.